Greetings everybody and welcome to another PAX Air tutorial. Today we're going to be discussing the Dani Aircraft 737. I want to take a moment and thank the owners of TFIA for allowing us to use their airport to film our tutorial video. So as you see, we're parked here at the gate. So we're going to walk on in and we're going to go ahead and go over the rear of the aircraft to start with. This first seat can be sat. As you see, here's our kitchen. Then we move into the first sitting area. These 4 seats on this side can be sat in, as well as these 2 couches. Moving further back, this seat in the back, the one in the front, and the brown one can also be sat in, as well as this one back here at the computer. And when you move back into the bedroom, you can lay on the bed. And then back in the back of the aircraft, you have the shower and the bathroom areas. So now we're going to go ahead and move forward to the cockpit and get the aircraft ready for takeoff. Once we get up front, we're going to go ahead and make sure our cabin door is closed. And then as the pilot, you can go ahead and just right click on the plane and sit. Now we're in the cockpit. So the first thing you are going to do is turn on your ground power. That's that little red switch right here. Ground power is on. Then you're going to go turn your batteries on. Next step would be to turn on your APU, however mine is already on. That's the switch right here. We're going to go ahead and start the engine. And while our engine's starting, we'll go over some of the lighting. This is our landing light. Automatically turns on the taxi light. Next we have the cockpit lighting and our panel lighting. Over here on the far side, we have the logo light, the strobe light, the beacon light, the 2 navigation lights, and the cabin light. Now that our first engine is started, we're going to go ahead and start our second engine. While our second engine started, we'll look at the rest of the cockpit. Down here is our gear lever. Here is our flaps, the speed brake, and your parking brake. With this parking brake, when you deactivate it, you're going to have to use the chat command BR in local or the HUD to re-engage your parking brake, as you will not be able to see the lever to re-engage it. Alright, our second light engine is on, so we're going to clear our gate and then we're going to go ahead and take off. We're going to go ahead and disengage our parking brake and taxi back using C or page down, whichever you prefer. Making sure that all around us is clear, using that radar to make sure there are no aircraft taxiing towards us. And once you're well enough from the gate, you can begin your turn towards the taxiway. And give you a little bit of tidbit information. While taxiing, if you take that yellow line and you line it up with your yoke, you'll see that the aircraft is maintaining over that yellow line. Our front wheel is on top of that taxiing line as long as you maintain center with that yoke. Again, checking left and right and our radar to make sure there are no oncoming aircraft. And then we check and see no oncoming aircraft down the runway. Radar is clear, so we can take the runway. Now that we're on the runway, we can go ahead and engage one notch of flaps and throttle up. Anything above 50% will get you off the ground. My takeoff is about 80%. Once you get up to speed, just ease back on your yoke, raise your gear, and disengage your landing lights. Once we're airborne, we're going to clear the approach path by moving to the far side of the sim. We're going to go ahead and climb to about 150 meters. Begin to slow down about 50%. "50% is a standard cruising speed. Will maintain you in the air and allow enough time between sim crossings to allow you to load. So we're about at our altitude. Just level out a little bit. Once we're in the sim, we're going to go ahead and begin our turn back towards our airport. We're going to end up on the south side of the sim to align ourselves to the runway. And once we do turn onto the final path, we're going to engage one notch of flaps and slow our speed to 45%. Now, once you do engage that first level of flaps, you'll note that if you try to maintain straight and level, the aircraft is going to continue to descend on you. Simply adjust your pitch to maintain your rate of descent at a stable rate. The further up your nose is, the less rate of descent you have. The more down your nose is, the more rate of descent you will have. So we're going to go ahead, lower our gear, and engage that second set of flaps. Once we engage that second set of flaps, it's going to be more pronounced that you have to maintain using your nose. Don't want to really mess with our power all too much. Look at our glide slope. We're looking for 2 whites and 2 reds all the way down to the ground. Once you make contact with the ground, you're going to go ahead and full reverse. And then you can taxi off the runway as soon as you slow down enough. Now that we're clear of the active, we can go ahead and taxi back to the terminal, and we'll taxi to the G2 gate that we took off from. So while we're taxiing, we can go ahead and flip that switch, turn our APU back on. That way we're good to go ahead and shut down the engines once we get parked. Once you're in position, you can re-engage your parking brake with the command BR. And you can begin the shutdown process. Simply choose an engine to go down first. And while your first engine is shutting down, you can shut down all of your lighting. You can shut down your next engine once your first one has shut off. Whenever your second engine does shut down, simply throw the ground power switch, and that'll disengage your battery, leaving your APU online. Once your engines are shut down completely, you want to cam out, open the cabin door, with or without your ladder, then click the aircraft and click the physical in the menu to turn the aircraft to no physical. Your passengers can now disembark the aircraft without it moving. Again, we would like to thank the owners of TFIA for allowing us the use of their airport to make this tutorial video. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me directly or ask in group for assistance. Thank you.